Pascal, as we get started here, do you mind filling us in with an injury report on the couple guys that didn't skate? I had Niku, Stanley, McKenzie, and Green, I believe. Do you mind updating us on the statuses?
Sammy was a positive personal day away from the rink. Skylar is a potential this weekend. Stanley is out 4 weeks, and at least 4 weeks. 4 weeks, and Green was wearing a gold jersey, so he was a skater. We need to test him full practice before he's a player, so he's a potential this weekend.
What would you classify Stanley's injury as?
Would be somewhere mid-body.
Mid-body? Okay.
Well, it's upper body, lower body, mid-body. It's it's upper body.
Part of the body, okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I caught that, but Sammy's status, do you have any update on like a timeline or anything? Or
I don't. We're still treating his lower body injury, so he would be maybe a player this weekend. But right now, I don't think he is. But next week, he should be back.
So, as you're preparing for your next weekend of games, obviously you've had time to digest how these last 2 weekends went and such. How much of it do you think isn't much of a negative and really just a case of how much you guys lost the special teams battle, for example, here?
Yeah, well, that's one part we need to improve. We worked on it twice this week. We had, yesterday we had a full day of, not a full day, but the full video presentation was on the power play. Today it was a full presentation on the penalty kill. So we obviously need to improve ourselves on special teams. I think we had good looks on the power play, but good looks is not enough, right?
Sure.
It's you need results, and I think at times we're passing the puck when we be shooting the puck. As simple as that, having more of a shooting mentality and more of a net front presence mentality. I think those two pieces will change how we move on the ice, and most likely it will change the results. Yeah.
Speaking of changes, post game, post the Saturday game, you kind of alluded to, we were going to keep that first line together.
Yeah.
But today, you made some changes, some tweaks. How much of that was to get CJ Cease and Christian Vesalainen getting going and maybe in a different rhythm than they were before?
It's part of it for sure. But it's also, after the game, I looked at, I said, we're gonna keep that line together, and we did the first day after a day off. But then we looked at different options, and I looked at the other three lines, and we weren't producing much. So we need four lines that can contribute. So part of it is getting Vesalainen going, putting Shawzy back in the middle. We had some success last year with Logan Shaw in the middle. And CJ, we know he's a good centerman. We also want to develop him as a winger. He's played wing in the past, but we want to give him some time so he's comfortable at both positions.
Is there also a kind of a confidence component to that? Like for someone like CJ, a center is a really hard position, obviously.
Yeah.
Kind of throwing them in there, and maybe they're doing the right adjustments, but if they're not kind of producing offensively or in areas that give them confidence, that can be kind of difficult for a young guy?
Well, you know what? Maybe. That's a legitimate question, but I think in this case, I think the confidence is there. I think his first two games, he didn't like them, if you ask him. But then since then, he's been pretty good. But the way we play, the center will take the face-off, but after that, it's really depending on your position. And having him and CJ, Spacek and CJ Cease on the same line, we have a righty that can take face-offs on the strong side, and CJ Cease taking face-offs on the other side. So we're going to play with that a little bit, but we want to give him some time on the wing.
So, Mikael Burden, I think it's almost understated how well he's done given the circumstances, whether it's the penalty kills and facing so many 5-on-4 shots or just keeping you guys in games. How important has he been to this group? And furthermore, how much of a factor has he been in your guys' penalty kill success?
Oh, he's been good, really good. I'm glad that you noticed it because he's been a key part. We've had some success on the PK because he was a big piece of it. And there's room for improvement big time because the way we play our PK, the goalie should know exactly where the pucks are coming from. And there was a one or two goals that we gave up, and he was going the wrong way about it. So he's gonna learn that. He did. His second game, he was better, but he's obviously a great prospect for us.
No, absolutely. Is there any apprehension though, or like for you as a coach to have a goalie handling the puck that much on the penalty kill? Like he'll just shoot up in the middle of the ice, something that's maybe not traditional or something people aren't as comfortable with. Is there that kind of element with you as a coach?
Yeah, no, I like it
You like it?
myself. I like it. I think he's gonna find. I think there's a few games or a few penalty kills or even 5-on-5. We're gonna say, oh, okay, just stay a little bit more passive, right, around the net. But I think over time he's gonna find that right balance at when to play the puck and when not. So, but that only comes with experience. So I want to give him that kind of experience.
Last question for me. Jonathan Kovacevic had pretty impressive first couple games with you guys, and I saw him out there with Cam Schilling. How impressed have you been so far, and what are you kind of looking forward to seeing from here on out?
You see everything, eh?
What?
You see everything. I can't hide anything from you. Good for you, man. You know what? I really like this game. I really like the way he plays. I think he's a big body out there. He's a guy that has a presence. He doesn't look like a first-year pro. He's got a good stick. He understands. He has a presence, confidence. He can move the puck. His game is pretty simple but pretty effective. He's been a captain everywhere he's been. He's got leadership. You can tell when you're around him. And I think he can handle being in that position so far. And we're going to give him the opportunity. But I don't care about age. Really, I really don't. I've never been that kind of coach where it depends how old you are. Can you play or not? Talent, grit, courage. I don't relate that to age. Experience, yes, having experience brings a value for sure. But being a positive factor in a hockey game, age has no impact to me. So he can play. We're going to play him.